What's up, y'all? HTG Brian back live with the May 2026 Game Break. Hopefully, you guys have had a wonderful weekend and a break for me. I know it's been very slim pickings around here in regards to streams and things as of late. Whoa, I'm getting a loud feedback over here on my other PC. Let's see if I can figure that out right quick. It's probably right here. Yes, my volume was still turned up from watching Kirsten's last stream that whenever that was, a couple days ago. Um, so I should have it rectified. All right, sorry about that. If you heard any of them echoes. So been a really busy month. Last few months I've been like, not much to talk about. This month is definitely different. Lots of things have happened, mostly good. Lots of outdoor adventures and things outside of my normal realm. But yeah, so real quick though, before we get going, I just want to say a quick happy birthday to Chachinator, the guard dog, aka mischievous Mexicano. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chacho. Boo to the Spurs, but still happy birthday to you. That's right. I said what I said, bro. I said what I said. No, for real. Hope you have a good birthday, man. I know you've had a pretty busy month too. You did some travel and stuff. So awesome. Congrats on all of that. All right, moving right along. I've got a large agenda today. Today's game break is possibly going to be the longest ever. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not like counting on it or anything, but I do have a whole bunch of things. Starting off with our stats, we had a pretty decent swell at the end of the month. It's sort of pushing some boundaries. Next month, we'll actually show more of it because it's not really delayed, but the momentum is sort of picking up right now with the Lego Batman stuff. But first of all, welcome back, of course. This segment right here, if you're new to Game Breaks, is more or less just sort of a documentation of your support. And me thanking you guys for continuing to allow me to do what I do and have fun doing it. So welcome back. This is last month's stats. We hit 228,681 subs with an increase of about 722. We had about 644,000 views and 33,000, almost 34,000 watch time hours. That is pretty standard, pretty okay. We usually like to see more of like the 700,000 or whatever. Oh, raised with a gifted membership. Woohoo. Pew, 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 pew. This month, we did a little bit better. As soon as that pop-up goes away, I'll go ahead and flash it. There we go. It was a little delayed. Boy, uh-oh. That might be a bad sign of things. That is not centered in where it should be. I was moving some things around this morning, and it, like, seemingly grabbed a bunch of content and moved it. Then I hit Control-Z, and it moved it all back. I think. That might be really bad, you guys. This may be a catastrophe waiting to happen. Anyways, this month though, God, that didn't work. I was gonna say, what the crap? Wait for it. It's so delayed. Why is it so delayed? I pushed the button. 10, 11, 12. Let's try it again. There we go. All right, and it went away again. What the crap? All right, so this is frustrating. I just did a computer update and everything yesterday. It's actually not showing my new one until I click it again. Let me see if I can manually do it. It shows. So there it is. Hopefully it'll stay. So 229,600. So we got, almost a full 1,000 subs, even though the numbers say differently. Wait, what is going on with this? This is just not working. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing that time. Yeah, it's so delayed. It's like totally broken. All right, I'm just gonna say this right now. This may not go down as planned. My system is not working properly. Even manually clicking things, it's very slow. All right. So, anyways, 660. Is it 59 or 69,000? I'm gonna put my glasses on. So 660,000 and 30. Yeah. So right on par, right on point. Big time thanks. Hopefully this will all stop and go away. I'm pushing buttons and nothing is happening. This is so wild. This has never been an issue for me. All right, so those are gone. Welcome back is old. Welcome back is on now. Holy cow! So glad Nom's not here yet. So glad Nom's not here yet. All right, moving right along. That did not work out as planned. It's been a real busy month. Obviously, it's been Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight month. Hey, that button worked. Maybe some other things will continue to work for me. Um, Phenomenal story. Great game. Lots of history, lots of learning, lots of homage. I don't know that we've ever seen anything on this level. Now, I keep getting asked a lot, is this a traditional Lego game? And I have a hard time answering that. I really do, because although it is in a lot of ways, it's more of a traditional game than Horizon was. But looking at the overall formula of Lego games, they drastically changed it. So if you haven't played it yet, the story is about 15 hours or so. And then normally you'd have to, like, you know, prepare for free play, buy some characters, and then maybe, you know, vehicles, whatever, and then go back for some free play stuff. Does not work that way. In fact, you can actually gain all the collectibles on your first go. They give you everything you need. And in fact, too, once you get to a point where you can travel back and replay levels, like, let's say you've beat the whole story, you've unlocked all the gadgets, you go back to play like the 7th level. You only have gadgets up to that point of the story. So they actually take things away from you, which is weird. We've never seen that before. They sort of gave us mini kits, but like also didn't give us mini kits. What up, Bobby? What up, Scrap? They have what they call Batcave trophies. And the Batcave trophies are largely compiled of what would be considered a mini kit. You know, traditionally mini kits are pieces of bricks, you know, some sort of a design, right? Sometimes they look like a mini kit. Sometimes they look like something else, right? Whatever's relevant to the game or theme you're playing. But in the end, once you get all 5 or all 10, whatever the case is for the game, they build up those bricks into a larger something else, a larger vehicle, a larger display, or whatever, right? We've seen various things over the years. And those are called Batcave trophies. They never actually call them mini kits anywhere in the game, but essentially that's what they are. So there are mini kits, but they're not in every level like you would expect. Like, you'll play like 2-3 levels and then get a level with mini kits, and then you'll play 2-3 levels and get a level with Wayne Tech caches, which is a new collectible. Sometimes you get levels with both. Most of the collectible based levels have a red brick in them as well, but the red bricks are not at all what we're used to. They're not 2 times, or they're not, you know, attract studs or invincibility or no fall. Like, they're modifiers for outfits that you have. So they're basically like alternate costumes, if you will. I still haven't finished the game yet, so I haven't really played with the red bricks to see how they work. But, you know, Tyler P., our guide writer, shout out to Tyler P., whoop, whoop. You know, he got through it really quick, and he's still adding stuff to the guide, making changes as Jay and I progress through, and kind of update and give him some feedback on some things. There's been a couple spelling errors, you know, so we've been going through that. And big shout out to Pig, too, which I haven't seen here yet. Sorry if I had missed you, Jay, but ultimately, you know, we've had a lot of progress. I keep getting people showing up on the videos going, where are the videos? I don't know how many times I've shouted from the mountaintop. They don't just magically appear day one. They just don't. And I'm trying to be patient with people, which I already told you guys previously that's a task that I have a hard time with sometimes. You know, I have a hard time not being snarky about it. Like, oh yeah, 700 hours worth of work just magically appears day one the game's out. Yeah, don't worry. I blinked and I'm done with the guide. You know, like, I'm trying not to say things like that. But, you know, people don't understand. Now, also, some people don't know how things work around here, that I only release 1 video a day so that I'm not cluttering or, you know, spamming your inboxes. And, you know, that every video I upload is added to a playlist, which you can access all of those from the playlist, even if they're not released, or they're at the end screen link. So if you watch level 1 and you get to the end, there's a little like suggestion video that says like, hey, if you like this, you should check this out. Well, the video is next, so it'll be level 2. And you get to the end of level 2, guess what? It's level 3 that's next that's suggested, and so on and so forth. So we do have a limit. Like, we're only up to like level 16, I think, is where we're at. But only 10 or 11 videos have been released. So there are 5 or 6 that are available that people have not gotten a notification for, but we're still not done with the story. One of the other things that I'd like to point out is that this game I was hopeful was going to be like a revival, right? Like that it was going to jumpstart the channel and do tremendous views for a long time. We never get immediate views. We're never like that channel that gets 100,000 views on a video right away. Like they always build up. Like we have lots of videos that are in 6, 7 digits, but like most of them take months or years to get to that. And that's okay with us. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not worried about it. I'm totally okay with the pace. But this game is so, I hate to use the term dumbed down, but it's so simplified in so many ways. Like all collectibles, if you play this, you've noticed this, collectibles actually have a gold stud trail, either nearby or leading to a collectible. So as long as you got your eyes open, gold studs aren't very dominant in this game. In fact, you see lots of bronze and silver, which are the 1 and the 10, but you don't see a lot of hundreds, which is the gold. You see blues hidden, purples hidden too, but gold, you get some for like silent takedowns. You get some for various things like Wayne Tech caches, or some of those have some studdage in them. But you don't really see golds otherwise. They're not just hanging out. You don't like punch a guy down. I don't think you get any golds. You get silver and bronze. So the gold is kind of an indicator of, and there's a few cheeky ones like the ball pit. If you've played, you know the ball pit one where like you drop down and it's actually behind you, covered, but you can still see the studs. So you know, ultimately, I don't see these guides doing a tremendous. Like a lot of people have beat the game in like a couple days, right? Like I've seen 27 hours, 100%. I've seen 30 hours, lots. I've seen 35, lots. And anything over that, you know, lots of those too. But anyways, I see Adam D's out there. What up, Adam D? Ultimately, I highly recommend. I'm starting to see an online debate, though, of whether this game is worth the asking price. And for me, I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I'm going to stick with them. Yes, Warner Brothers did give us a code and a couple days of early access. But this is not me taking that and give it, like, this is an honest answer. Like, I do think the game is awesome. I do think it's very much worth playing. It is very different than what we were expecting in some ways, like the mini kits and the collectibles and this free play, not needing free play. Free play is an option. I want to be clear. Once you get to a certain point, and it's not right away. So like normally you could beat level 1 and then you can unlock free play for it and you can go back and play that. This you have to get to like level, I want to say like 13, 14, something like that. It's the beginning of chapter 3 is what we've determined. And so you got to play quite a bit before you can go back and replay any of it. And I'm not sure why they blocked it off like that. I think it has to do with the progression of the story and how you access the levels, because it has to do with the Batcave. And I'm not trying to spoil anything for anybody, but not everything is available right at the beginning. So do I think it's awesome? Yes. Do I think you should buy it? If you like Lego and you like Batman, I don't see why you shouldn't. Is it worth the money? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it is. I'm going to go on that side of the debate for the online stuffs. And it has nothing to do with my connection with Warner Brothers. As some of you might know, I was actually really tight with them. And then something seemingly happened, and I'm not so tight with them anymore. And I still don't know why, and I refuse to go and ask because I don't want to be that guy going, what'd I do? What's wrong? I don't want to be that guy. So, hey, Alan, if you're watching, shoot me an email. Let me know what the crap I did. If I did anything, you know. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. And again, nothing but love for Warner Brothers. They've taken great care of us over the years, and they likely will continue to as time goes on. All right, so all that being said, Lego Batman, definitely add it to your wish list. Definitely make it a thing. You know, if you're one of those guys like Bobby who likes to wait for discounts and whatnot, by all means, wait. The guide will be done by then, I'm sure. But if you jump in right now, just know that the guide's not fully evolved in video form. We do have a written guide. Again, shout out to Tyler P. and Halfway J for making that a reality. But yeah, so go get it if you haven't already. And one last thing, too. A lot of people have come to me and be like, this is so dumb. They're making us pay to 100% the game. There's always confusion. People always think that you have to buy all the stuff to get the gold suits and all of the gold Batmobiles. Not needed for everything. Chacha with a $1.99 super chat. What up, man? Appreciate that. It's your birthday. Why are you super chatting me, bro? Nothing but love, though. Nothing but love. All right, so enough on Lego Batman. Next up, I got my fingers crossed that these pictures are still lined up because, as you saw, some of the things have been shifted, and I'm hoping that's not. How much is the game? It is a AAA game, considered anyways, and its asking price right now is $69.99 for the base, and I believe it's $89.99, or is it $99.99? There's a deluxe edition too. It gains you early access, but that is no longer relevant because the game is out. But it does come with the DLCs that are currently available, which are just outfits and things. Nothing game changing. No usable stuff that helps you with the game. Just ways to look different. And then there's another DLC pack that will have an additional level. And supposedly Joker and Harley will be playable characters at that point too. So that's not till September. All right, so beach. We took last weekend off and went to the beach. We went Friday night and then came back Saturday, so it was just an overnight stay. Beach is always lovely. When we got there, it was actually pretty overcast. The sun was peeking through in this photo, but it was pretty dark and gloomy for the most part. This is actually a photo from the inside of my mom's house. So there's a little bit of window glare in the bottom left, as you can see. But, overall, still, Oregon coast, right? Like, you don't expect 100-degree weather and nothing but sun. But ultimately, it was a pretty good go. We had a nice time with the dogs, Drexler, and of course, hey, Jay is out there. What up, pig? We took Drex to meet with the Rocks, and as always, they have a blast. This is out in the backyard. Those are espalier trees that you can see on the left. The right is just like shrubs, but the espaliers are they're like genetically modified trees that actually fruit multiple types of fruit. So there's pears that have like 3 or 4 different types of pears coming off of one tree. They have apples that have like 3 or 4 or 5 different types of apples that come off. We have one in our backyard. I showed it to you guys last summer when we did the Vego garden boxes. One of them has a trellis on it that the tree attaches to. We ended up getting 3 apples last year on ours. Usually takes a couple years for that stuff to come to fruition. Sorry about that. But ultimately, my mom's been there for 7 or 8 years, and they're doing wonderfully. She always has like bags of fruit because she has like 6 or 8 of them. So see how I did there? Saved you, Jay. Saved you, bro. Okay. Next up, we got. I wanted to show this off. I've talked about this before, and I actually. I thought I took another photo after this, but I apparently got distracted and didn't. So this is part of the downstairs where we stay when we stay there. Our room is actually right behind this over to the left. And we have like our own little apartment when we go there, our own bathroom, our own shower. There's a little kitchenette, like no stove, but like a microwave and a freezer and a fridge and a sink. And so it's pretty awesome. And there's also a ping pong table and some cool lights and what else is in there? There's something else in there too. Anyways, but the bar is awesome. There's actually another, so there's darts as well, but there's another shelf or a bar actually with a sink and stuff right behind where this photo is too. Very, very awesome setup. Love it. What do you think about the bricks and minifigs? And it's funny. I was just telling my wife about that, how that's become a national thing. We've shopped. We've bought bricks. My Lego MF Doom mosaic. Here, I'll get it. I built this a couple years ago, but this guy right here, a large part of the bricks that are on this were bought at the Bricks and Minifigs in Kaiser, Oregon, that has been shut down. That's a whole story. If you haven't heard it, long story short, the store took in a collector's collection of Lego Star Wars valued at around $200,000. From there, it gets really muddy in how it goes, but essentially it sounds like the sets got distributed to different locations of Bricks and Minifigs and were sold, but the guy never got his money for it. And then it's my understanding that lawyers got involved, and the Bricks and Minifigs lawyer told them if they filed bankruptcy and closed the store, they wouldn't have to pay the customer his $200. So basically, this guy brought in his collection and put it on consignment, and they were going to give him $200K for it as they sold the sets. The sets got distributed and sold, and he never got his money. And then the store closed. It's actually causing our other local reseller. There's another one out in Kaiser, literally like 3 miles down the road from it. And they've reportedly gotten egged and all sorts of like harassment, bad phone calls because they're thinking that that is the Lego store. And I know the owner, Adam, is awesome. Like Reese and I've spent a bunch of time in that one too. When I do my poly bags and I open those little minifig poly bags or the blind bags, when I have extras and I need to get, that's where I take them is to the other store. Bricks and minifigs, they're good for certain things in here in town, but we didn't do a lot of stuff. But I bought a bunch of bulk brick from them so I could make that mosaic. Anyway, sorry for the distraction. And it is an interesting story, Scrap. I am following it to see how it ends up, but it's pretty wild. All right, moving right along. Drex was very happy to get onto the beach. I think that's right. Did we? Okay, so this was actually the next morning. You can see it's a little bit clearer. This was taken also from inside. You can see the window reflections there. Pretty much the same angle, but not quite. We eventually broke down and went to the beach because the sun sort of poked its little face out. And so this is the Salishan Spit. There is a large sandbar that has houses on it and all sorts of stuff, and it kind of has like a little bay, if you will, the Salishan Bay. And that's on the one side. We actually go to the other side here in a second. But Drex, of course, you know, they have leash laws, which my mom and her husband don't abide by, but we always have Drex on a 50-foot lead, just in case other animals or things show up, like, you know, seagulls, seals, things like that might show up. And so we actually have a chance to catch him. So even if he's like 30, 40 feet away from us, we still have 20 so feet to catch him with that cord. Somebody's Discording me. Let's see what this is. Oh, it's Gurgus. Get out of here, Gurg. Friggin' Gurg. So yeah, continuing to go through. Drex had a blast. You can see he's wrapping everybody up with that lead. It's crazy to think that last year at this time we were in the final stages of his rehab. Oh, land shark. He loves to open his mouth and just like catch a bunch of water as he goes. And Jillian, of course, hopping around. Like I said, he was having an absolute blast out there. He always does when we go to the beach. Got a little deeper than he expected, I think. So there was a moment, you can see that there's low water right there, and there's another little sandbar out there. Here comes Roxy Dog. I think this is actually, watch this. Wait, watch this. She loops around, and watch the top right side. Follow her, watch her. My stepdad's right there. He throws a Frisbee at her. Watch this. Snap. She's a pretty good little Frisbee dog. But that little sandbar out there, so the sandbar on the sandbar, I didn't have waterproof shoes on, and I tried to cross, and I got about halfway, and I was sinking into the water, and I didn't have an extra pair of shoes or an extra pair of socks, so I like stopped, right? And I didn't go, and my mom and my stepdad and the dogs and Jillian all went out there. And at one point, Drex turns around, and he notices I'm not there, and it was absolutely hilarious because he comes to chase me. Of course, wouldn't be a trip to the beach without digging. Bro likes to dig like no other dog, I swear. He'll go for so long. This was like the third hole that he dug. But usually Roxy comes and sits in it or like knocks the sand back in and like always like interferes, and he just gets frustrated and is like, oh, I'm out of here. He kept going. He ended up digging a giant hole. Like that. This picture doesn't do it any justice. But he dug a huge hole. Like he could have easily sat in it and like you couldn't have seen him from like 10 feet away. Like it was pretty wild. Overall, here's the spot. Look, he's like, Dad, what are you doing way over here? Why are you all over by yourself, man? He comes over and chills with me. Gave Mom some free time out there to not have to worry about the lead or nothing. And we got arguably one of the best selfies I've ever taken with him. Pretty fun little moment looking out. Oh, snap. Shout out to Finn for the sub. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully you enjoy our content. Boy, I'm going to have to figure out what layers are messed up and which ones aren't. Sad part is, as soon as I'm done with the game break, I got plans, so I'm going to be packing up and taking off, so I won't be dealing with that today. Next month, I'll be like, dang it, I forgot all about that. Watch. Just watch. What up, Sylvia? Welcome to the stream. And then last but not least, we got the overall beach. So this is the Salishan ocean side of the Spit. So there's my family right there. A little yeah, you can see the dogs just going nuts. Look. Tell me they're not having fun. Tell me they're not having fun. I think I swoop off to the left-hand side and show you, like, you know, it's not a private beach, but it is sort of feels private. And there's the ground that I couldn't get through because I didn't want to get water on my shoes. The little ripples there, very cool effect there with the tide being out. But look at that. I mean, there's like one other group of people on the beach, and it's like a mile long. It's crazy. So we're super fortunate for my mom to have that access and all of that stuff. And to get to go there, which is no wonder why we go there as often as we can, especially in the summertime. So, all right, Bendy, what up? Welcome to the stream. Batman 3, huh? That's been a minute. All right, next up, so car show season's here. And some of you know and have heard, I show my car. I have a 2024 Golf R, even my old car, my 2012 GTI, both Volkswagens. I just like showing. I like the car stuff. I always have. We've always gone to the bug runs. We've always gone to Volkswagen. We've gone to, you know, hot import nights when that was a big thing back in the day. We went to lowrider shows. I pretty much my whole adult life, I've chased the car shows. And so this year, I wanted to sort of improve the way I displayed my car. And by doing that, they have these things called display build or build displays. And basically it's, you know, sometimes photos of the car, maybe just a cartoon version of your car, and then a list of all the things that you have done to the car. So I was trying to figure out a cool way to do it. And I started working with Reese's boss, who works at owns the film shop. And he has 3D printers and all sorts of things that he can make cool gadgets and whatever. And so I approached him and I was like, hey, you know, I want to get like some sort of like an acrylic sign, you know, something that stands up in front of the car on the ground, you know, and I want it to be like 3 feet tall and probably like 1.5 feet wide. And, you know, I'd love for you to help me design it because, you know, I'm pretty good at like designing stuff, but I also have my limitations. So, we talked about it and he was like, yeah, no problem. I'll totally do that. And then like a couple weeks went by and I was like, so you got anything to show me? And he was like, bro, we haven't decided on anything. And I was like, well, I came to you for creative inspiration. You know, I was hoping you would come up with something. And he was like, well, that's not how this works. You know how many times I've done projects for people and I've spent tons of time and I show them what I love and think is awesome. And they're like, I don't like it. Start over. And I was like, okay, fair enough. As a designer, somebody who did graphic design and web stuff for many years, there's plenty of situations that I can, you know, refer to that are basically the same thing. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll come up with the basic design and then you and I can work on it from there. So like 2 days later, I'm scrolling on Facebook and somebody used AI and they generated this post about a Golf R. And it was a very tall rectangular thing and it had some cool like icons and a bunch of cool information. And I was like, you know what, that's actually pretty sweet. So I showed it to Zane and Zane was like, that's actually awesome. We could totally redo that. And I was like, all right. So we start working on it and I was pretty set on the image itself. So there's like a main image of a blue Golf R on a racetrack at night and the lights hitting it and it just looks beautiful. And so I was like, all right, I want to use that racetrack shot, but I obviously got to have my car on the build sheet. I don't want to have somebody else's car on this. This is supposed to be my custom build. So wife and I went out multiple nights. In like a 7 or 8 day span, I must have washed my car 3 or 4 times and we were taking photos anywhere and everywhere. So I did a golf shoot. I'm just going to kind of fly through these photos because, you know, time, we got a bunch of other stuff to talk about too. And I know not everybody loves the golf stuff, but some of these photos are actually top notch. So I was looking for a particular shot, but I also was taking other shots too. So like it starts off very unique and very different, left side, right side, sideways, these different shots. And then I get to like the specific angle. And I only had a couple of those because I must have taken 100 photos trying to get the right angle to match it, because essentially I was taking a car out of an image and then wanted to replace my car in that image and have it look like it belonged. So the angle had to be right. The lighting had to be right. So I had to go at night. I had to worry about like reflections off of street lights and lamps and the moon and all these. It was crazy. But in the process, I got a couple of really good photos of the Golf. So this was the first night, and it definitely wasn't dark enough. And I was taking very random stuff. Oh, Boo Boo's out there. What up, man? A little closer up version of the same thing. A little further back version of the same thing. Sometimes the sun and the ambience makes it better. Sometimes it takes away. So, I mean, just some really good shots. Like I haven't done like a photo shoot with Rosie. That's what I call my car, for a while. but just some, you know, unique, different looks. And one of my favorites is coming up. I like that one a lot too. Like the contrast with the like the yellowy golden sky with, and then like the dark, like there's hardly any reflection or light coming off the side. I really like that one. This one's good too. I don't dislike that one at all. I think my favorite one though is coming up. Oh, that's a different one. That building in the back ruined it. That yellow siding missing. I totally ruined that shot. So here's some of the other ones too. So the night one. So one of these photos was actually used for the final product. I thought the blue, like look at the blue. This is all on top of a parking garage downtown Salem, Oregon. So definitely some cool shots, like the ambient here, like the blue, like matching my blue. Like I thought it looked pretty good. So the whole goal of that shoot was to get a photo and extract the car itself from it and put it onto a display board that had my information of my car on it. And I do have some photos of that final product, but you're going to have to wait to see it. Next up, we want to talk about Lego. Every month or most months, I end up making a pretty decent Lego purchase, and I usually share that with you guys. This month was a little bit extra, not because of anything other than the fact that it was related to what I was doing on the channel at the time. And that, any guesses what it might be? I was hopeful that I might get a package from Warner Brothers with this stuff because a lot of people did, and I did not. So I had to go out and spend my hard-earned money on it. But here you go. I bought a handful of Batman stuff. I also got a Star Wars, and I'll talk about that in a second. But basically, all 4 of the Lego Batman kits here come with a one-time use code for gold suits or gold vehicles, gold Batmobiles, in the game. And then this is one of those things that people were getting really frustrated with. I can't believe I have to buy these Lego sets. You don't. You don't have to buy them. You don't ever need them. If you've noticed, I haven't even added them. I still haven't even opened these boxes. My goal was to stream and build these live, but multiple things happened weeks prior to the launch of Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, and I ended up not having the time to feel comfortable to do it. Plus, I'm not really sure. It's been a while since I've built any of these. I didn't know if it was going to take me 30 minutes or 30 hours. You know, I mean, probably not 30 hours, but the bat wing itself, the bat symbol, is pretty decent size. Not crazy, but bigger than the actual Batmobiles. Now, the Star Wars set. Oh, here, let's take some close-ups real quick. So we got various Batmobiles. This is Batman and Robin Batmobile, which, you know, I'm not really sure. I'm familiar with that. I don't know if that. I haven't watched all the movies. I know it's crazy. Like, I used to give Doug a bad time about not watching Star Wars movies and then doing a Star Wars game. But I haven't seen all the Batmans. Like, the ones with, like, Mr. Freeze with, like, Schwarzenegger. I haven't seen that one. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but never seen it. I like the George Clooney one. Like, I haven't seen that. I've seen most. I've seen the Michael Keaton. I've seen the Christian Bales. I've seen I've seen the newer one, Batfleck. I've seen the one with Ben Affleck. I've seen the Batman with what's his name from Twilight. Robert Pattinson. Yeah. But I haven't seen all of them. So, like, Batman and Robin, this may be from those movies I haven't seen. Maybe from the animated series or something, too. But ultimately, pretty cool build. This one, the Tumbler. This is the Batman versus Superman one. It's not the original Tumbler. It might not even be called the Tumbler, but that's how I've always looked at it. Jay's probably losing his mind right now. That's not the Tumbler! But yeah, I think this build's pretty wild. Like, it looks very unique and different. And it looks like it's got some guns or harpoons out the front. George Clooney Batman. So yeah, so I haven't seen it. See, I don't know. And I know every time we talk about it, I'm like, is there one of those or 4 of those? I can't remember. And then the Batman Batmobile. This is the one with Richard Pattinson, Patterson, what? Pitter patter, let's get at her, or whatever it is. And then of course the bat symbol, the Batman logo is what it's actually called. Pretty cool stuff. And this one actually comes with the gold suit for Batman to wear. Well, the other ones are gold Batmobiles. You've not seen them, Shane? No, I've been told it's a good thing I haven't seen those ones. They're very campy, and that's why I haven't seen them. They look ridiculous, if I'm being honest. Like, Batman's been sort of represented as like a serious, like, you know, those ones look laughable, like the costumes and stuff, and yeah. So I will probably watch them at some point, but I'm not in a hurry. And the last but not least, the Star Wars. The one thing that is not like the other. Um, this was purchased with a different intent. So when we went to that car show last month in North Carolina, they had Wookiees in the Woods display. So they used this set and somebody repurposed it and made it say Wookiee in the Woods. It was actually WITW. And then I don't remember what it said across the bottom. It said something else. Or maybe it was all just WITW. So I bought it because when they raffled it off, they had an option. They actually had two sets. They had the built set with the Wookiees in the Woods, right? And then they had an unopened Star Wars one with the instructions to build. So there was two that were raffled off. One of them, like I said, the first person that won it got the built one. And the second person that won it got the unbuilt one with the directions. So there was like a QR code on the table with the guy's build information and all sorts of mocks that he's made. And so we got that photo, and I was like, all right, all I have to do is go home and get the QR code, and I'll be able to build this into the Wookiees in the Wood version. I get home, I scan the QR code, it takes me to a page, tons of mocks, but not the Wookiees in the Woods. So I reach out to Buddy, and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get the Wookiees in the Woods, you know, what's up with the instructions? He goes, oh, yeah, I don't have those. What? So, like, I bought this thing to build the Wookiees in the Woods, and now I'm not going to be able to because he doesn't have that. He said maybe someday he'd put them out, but right now he's not worried about it. So, I guess I've got a Star Wars set that'll be sitting on my shelf. Who knows? Maybe it'll fetch some money down the road. But yeah, so Lego was a good month. I don't know if there's anything else coming out next month that'll be relevant or needing to have. We had a big talk about Lego yesterday at the show with different people. Because, you know, I also have, and I know I told you guys about this, but there's a company called Mini Cubes. And inside this bag is all the pieces and stickers I need to make a Volkswagen Golf R. My son actually got me a custom set. He took pictures of my car, sent it to them, and then they built a Lego set based on my car. Now, if you were to go to that site and get a Golf R, they might have that set available now because Reese initiated that. But there's stickers that like go on once the build. So it's actually pretty cool. I was hoping to have that done and part of my showing yesterday, but I did not. So, anyways, next up, we went to the pond. So we went to the beach on Friday and then came back Saturday. And then on Sunday, we went up and met my brother up at our family property. Now, if you guys remember back in the day, most of the game breaks were almost live from the pond, where I would basically go up there and I would record the game break because I couldn't stream it because I didn't have internet access up there. It's so far up in the canyon, up in the hills and the woods that we didn't have internet up there. So I would record it on the GoPro, bring it home, and then I'd add some bells and whistles, some logos and things as I talked, just like I do now, but without it being live. But that was when my grandfather was still around. He passed away a handful of years ago. And, you know, I took him up there every Tuesday. Every Tuesday was pond day. We went up there. We always got chicken at the chicken shack. And like, it was our deal. We did that for like years, multiple years. I took him up there. And at first I'd drive him up there and I'd help him out and he'd go sit somewhere or whatever. But by the end, he wasn't very mobile. So I'd load him up into the truck and he'd just sit in the truck and I'd do all sorts of yard maintenance and like tree debris removal, and like feed the animals. There's like multiple feeders and stuff up there. So, it's not used as much anymore. My uncle took over the ownership of it when my grandfather passed. And he always talks about having like work days and things like that, but we end up not ever getting the call. So he had been up there. It had been mowed a little bit, but we have a little cabin up there too. This is where Gramps used to sit. We used to go up there and have lunch and hang out. We built a little like a man-made outhouse, which is like directly behind this, like 40 yards behind it. You know, and it's kind of a mess inside there right now. I didn't really like being inside there because of how just unused it is, and it's basically like a storage unit right now. I'm not sure where all this junk came from, but there's a ton of junk. But there was fishing poles, and you know what? I just realized I never finalized and got the photos of us fishing. Jillian got a bunch of videos and footage of us fishing, and I didn't get it. But I do have some other photos to share. So there's the feeding station. Some of you guys might remember this. There was a tube feeder on the far left side of that kind of that 45-degree angle branch that's over there. It's kind of darker. There used to be a tube feeder. We'd fill it with like corn and other such other grains, like usually like seeds. We had like this mix that we would make, and then we had like feed blocks that would go in a box right below that big tree on the left. Bird feeders that are hanging there. We'd put all sorts of stuff in that. And we would just sit. We'd basically, the truck would be parked almost where this photo was taken from, and I'd be off whoever, wherever, and Grandpa would just sit there and watch all the birds come in and the squirrels and chipmunks and it's alive up there. Now we have trail cams and we've seen cougar, bear, all sorts of things up there, but definitely not while we're there. So that's good. There's lots of elk. We heard elk multiple times, bullfrogs like crazy, geese and ducks as well. Here's a view from the cabin towards the pond. And it's kind of hard to see the pond because there's a lot of overgrown grass. But don't worry. I got a couple photos of the actual water here in a minute with Drex in it. We also found that there was some weird trees being down. And if Boo's out there right now, he's probably thinking the same thing I thought when I saw this. I went, uh-oh. There better not be no damn crows flying around. We've been watching a show called From. In fact, a new episode actually airs tonight after a week off. It's been 2 weeks since we've gotten our fix for From, and we'll be watching that later tonight. But the premise of the show is people are driving. They come to this crossroads where they can't go any further. They have to make a choice to turn around because a tree has fallen in the road. And when they turn around, they actually find themselves not where they were before. In fact, they are in a mysterious town, and no matter which way they go, which way they drive, how fast or slow they drive, they cannot escape this town. And so there's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes with it. It's created by a couple of the creators from Lost. But when I saw these trees down, I was like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. But it was hard to tell, like, if my uncle did that to prevent people from driving back there for hunting and stuff. Because there's a handful of acres. I think it's like 20 acres or something like that for the whole property. But yeah, ultimately I was brown pants mode when I saw the trees down. Here's Drex in the friggin' pond. Tyler, my brother, and I were trying to fish, and we were like, man, the fishes ain't biting today. But man, like, we finally figured it out because this schmohawk was in there rooting around and making noise and splashing and land sharking again, and so yeah, there was supposed to be a handful of other photos of us fishing and even a video. There's a lot of bluegill and bass, nothing big. The pond drains pretty low every summer by the end of the summer. So, a lot of the fish die every year. My grandfather used to stock them about every other or every third year. He'd put, a handful of 5-gallon buckets full of like small bluegill, small bass. And a lot of them would make it and some of them wouldn't. But neither of us caught a fish, but I actually hooked one and got it all the way to the shore. And as you can tell, there's a bunch of long grass, like reed grass, I think is what it's called, that grows out of the water, and it was coming up onto the bank. So there was like a little bit of a disconnect between where the fish would actually pull out of the water, right, and where I was standing. And I got him up out of the water, and that he flipped up, and I could see it. He flipped up and then crashed into the water, and I'd lost him. Tyler was standing about 20 feet to my left, and he goes, "You get one?" And I was like, "I had one, man." And he looked at me, and Boo, you'd be proud of this too if you're out there. He looked at me, and he goes, "Allegedly." I was like, "Oh, come on, bro," which is a line from Letterkenny if you've ever seen the show. But I definitely did have a fish on the line. Lots of bullfrogs and stuff hanging out and making noise. One of them, actually, I almost caught a bullfrog with my lure as well. No bait or anything, and it would have been a catch and release. We wouldn't have brought it home if anybody's wondering. So let's see here. Anna says she hasn't seen any of the movies. So that makes me feel a little bit better. And that was the tumbler, I'm being told. Gotta wet the whistle. Jay says he built that Star Wars set a couple months ago. Nice. Watched the original TV show. I saw a lot of them. I probably haven't seen all of them, but I've seen a lot of the all. And I love in the new game, there's a section, a chapter that's and it's got the little spinning bats. Like there's some great stuff in that game. For reals. Chacho's out of here, huh? All right. Well, tell Gramps we said hello and hope you have a good birthday, bro. Let's see here. And it was 3 feet long. Yeah, no. It was about 6 inches, which is pretty decent size for our pond catches. But all right, next up we got let's see here. What else do I got here? let's do sunflowers next. I only have one photo of the sunflowers because there's not a whole lot to see. But technically there's two because I wanted to explain something to you guys. I want to show you something that's really been getting my goat the last few days, especially. And more on that in a hot second. So every year, my wife and I create what we call the sunflower wall. And this year, we actually, believe it or not, did not plant one single sunflower seed. This is all regrowth from previous years. Now, as a result of us not planting our own, you can see there's some gaps in between. And, you know, the photo isn't great, but it's roughly, I would say, 150 feet long. And usually we have somewhere between, 200 and 300 sunflowers. This year, it's probably going to be a little bit less. We had plans to plant corn and some other. She did all this research, and like cucumbers, I guess, and corn grow really well with sunflowers. So we were talking about adding that. We also had multiple conversations about moving some of the seedlings because there's some that are clumped up. There's like 25 in like a 6-inch radius, and then there's like a foot without any. So we were going to move some. We haven't done that yet. We might get that done today. It just all depends. We are probably going to go up north and go to have lunch with our friends that we went to the show with yesterday, but maybe not. So you might be wondering, okay, Brian, so what's this problem you have? What has been getting your goat lately? So my wife, she came to me couple weeks ago and says, I've really been thinking about summertime, and I feel like I spend a lot of time out there standing with a hose watering these sunflowers, trying to keep them alive. And I said, okay. And we've tried soaker hoses and various things over the years to try to help with, like a traditional sprinkler system. It kind of goes in a radius. Usually it's either front to back or side to side. And that doesn't really work with a straight line, right? So the soaker hose is probably the best bet, but the way everything is and the gravity and the distance from our actual water supply to the hose and it would be the soaker, it just doesn't work very well. And basically one section will get soaked and the rest will be dry as a bone. So she's like, hey, I found this really cool watering system. And I was like, okay, so get it. I was like, get it. And she was like, but it's kind of expensive. And I was like, well, what are we talking? Like $200-300? And she was like, no. And I was like, okay, what? She says, well, I've done the math on how many things I would need and how much feet of tubing I would need and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, what are we talking here? The final number will not be revealed on this stream because it's embarrassing. So we got over that. I told her to buy it. She bought it. Like 17 boxes of stuff showed up at our house over like a 3-day period. And our front plant room right now is completely cluttered, but in a very organized way. So it's plants all the way around. And then there's like rows of parts cut up, assembled, some not, some are ready to be assembled. And then she got these, there's like these cups. They're like, it's almost like a can, right? Like it's almost like a can. It's kind of shaped like that. And I could show you. These things had to be drilled out. So we had to get an auger for our drill and then basically drill like decent size holes, like every like 3 feet or something like that. And then we've got these little apparatuses. So you can see there's a couple of cups right here. What happens is there is tubing that comes from up above. It's supposed to be gravity fed. And so we have these buckets. You basically fill up a 5-gallon bucket, and the bucket then leaks into these tubes that then go from can to can to can. And as it goes to the can, it drips down into it, but also continues its journey to the next can. See any problem here, though? You guys see anything missing here? How much money do we pay for these? Why are we not using them? That's the question I've been having with the wife, which has got me sleeping on the couch. No, I'm just kidding. It's not like that. But some of these sunflowers are looking like they're going to die. I'm like, why aren't we hooking this up? And she's like, I don't know, because I haven't had time. School is still in. She's still really busy with that. Obviously, we've been busy. Pond trip, beach trip, Volkswagen show, you know, other gardening stuff. Like we've got a bunch of vegetables and stuff planted that are doing pretty well. Peppers, tomatoes, potatoes, squash, cucumbers. We got a bunch of that stuff. So a lot of focus has been going into the art. It just hasn't made it to the cans yet. And her reason is that, well, it's gravity fed. I'm supposed to have like these 5-gallon buckets on like a stand, but they don't sell a stand to put them on. You have to find your own stuff. So she was like, she had all these little resolutions for it. And then I came up with, I was like, we got a bunch of like wine barrels cut in half that we use as like potters for, you know, like, in fact, I think you can see some. Yeah, you can see there's a couple, 3 or 4 or 5 of them sitting there. And I'm like, why don't we just get 2 more or 3 more of those and flip them upside down and put the buckets on those? Well, then that became a whole new problem because the place we used to get them from no longer sells them. The place that we can get them from is about 30 minutes away, and they only sell full wine barrels. So we would have to get a wine barrel and cut it in half. In our case, we need 3 of them. So what are we going to do with that other half? I mean, we could have used it, repurposed around the yard or whatever, but how are we going to get 2 wine barrels? My car doesn't fit wine barrels. The Tesla probably doesn't fit wine barrels. Probably pretty close, but probably only one at a time. So anyways, long story short, one of her teacher friends, who's actually the shop teacher, lives in McMinnville. She was like, hey, if I order these, would you be able to pick them up for me and then bring them here? And then I could just have you cut them in half and then grab like 1 or 2 every day for a couple days until I get them all. And he was like, yeah, I can do that. But like, what do you need them for? And so we told him, and he's like, oh, I can just build you a little stand. You just bring one of those 5-gallon buckets in and I'll build one. And then I'll have my students make 2 other ones. Easy peasy. It's like $35 instead of like $350. And I was like, I like that. So we've been waiting for that. I don't know if Buddy's ever going to make them or not. And so I'm like telling her yesterday, I'm like, that's gravity fed, right? She's like, yeah. I go, well, it looks like gravity would do its job here. You know, like you put the bucket up above, it's going to run down. I mean, apparently it needs to be 10 feet high in the sky for that to be. So I don't know. Well, we're trying to figure that out. But sunflowers will be here soon enough. You can see this will be the last time I show it to you this week or this month. Next time, they'll be probably 3 times as big, and we'll probably fill in some of those gaps. And hopefully we'll have the water system up and running. If not, I might lose it. All right, what's next? Man, I can't see. It's so dark. Looks like we've got the bug run up next. All right, so every year we go to a show at the Woodburn Drag Strip, which is about 25 minutes away from us. And there's races, there's a motor blow, there's a rev off, there's a car show. They have vendor booths, swap meet booths. It's just a really fun show. I'm 47 years old, I think. And this year was the 40th anniversary. I have probably, like, legit been to 29 or 30 of them. So I've missed a few years. There was a couple of my early, younger years, like when I lived with my parents and stuff, that my dad wasn't taking me to. He was a Volkswagen guy, actually, and so was my mom. They both were Volkswagen people, which makes sense how I'm such a Volkswagen nut. My mom had a Volkswagen Fox. My dad and my mom had a Volkswagen Vanagon. My dad's had various other cars over the years, Volkswagens and Audis. Same with my mom. My mom's had a handful of Audis too. She drives an Audi right now. Her last 4 cars have been Audis, actually. So pretty consistent with my trips to this show. Every year it's a little bit different. We found that there is a flaw with how the shows happen, and I was actually talking about this in the chat pre-stream. So there's a QR code that you can scan to register an account, which literally just takes an email and a name. And then once you have your account with the email and the name, you can then scan other QR codes and actually vote for cars. The problem with this is it becomes a popularity contest of how many friends you have there versus anything to do with the car itself. We saw lots of classes that won because of a car club. And I say that because there was like 30 people there from the car club, and they all voted for their car club members' car. Even if the car was a piece of crap, even if the car had nothing done to it and it just sat there with no work or effort into it, and they all won. So I wasn't intending to win anything. I put a fair amount of effort in, and I did do my new display build, and I was sort of testing it out for the later show in September, because that's where the real fun is. That's where the real competition, that's where they have judges that they have volunteers for that go around and write down. They actually do like a voting system based on how clean your car is, how many mods you have, how your presentation is, if you follow the rules of cracking your windows when the hood up, and all these things, right? Instead of just like, oh, I know that guy, I'm voting for him. So unfortunately, I didn't win anything, but I didn't even vote for myself. And all of my people that were with me voted for my friend Greg. And I'll tell you more on that in a second. But here we go. Let's take some look at some pictures. So here because of how silly this car show is, Reese's 2012 GTI, my 2024 Golf R, and Greg's 2004 R32 were all in the same class. Does that even make sense? I mean, there's 20 years of difference between our cars. They have like 70 other classes for all these other bugs, buses, transport, type 1, type 2, the thing, custom, not custom, stock, hundreds of categories. Nah, it was probably like 75. And they clump 1999 to present. So 99 to 26 was all in one group. Okay. Ridiculous. So Reese and I were competing each other. Reese and Greg were competing. Reese and so anyways, you can see all of our cars here. This Reese's, then mine, then Greg's in a row. It was really nice to be able to park next to each other. Here's another photo from a different angle. Can't see as well. Then, of course, here's Reese's car, my old GTI. He hasn't done much things different other than maintenance and just keeping it clean. He's, filled in some rock chips, done a few things, but nothing spectacular. Retinted the windows. He's taking really good care of it, though. So, yeah, you'll see some crazy stuff here in a minute, Anna. There's another pink one you might like. There was actually even a sand buggy that was bright pink with like glitter in it, and it was racing. I got a video of it that I'll show you here in a little bit. But then there's mine. You can see there's a small picture of my display build. I have a better picture showing up here in a little bit. There it is right there. I think I have one other one that's more of a close-up. But so I have this new stand, this new little display that just sits right in my hood area. It was perfect. Like, it couldn't have been, like, Zane nailed it. 503 Films, Reese's boss, absolutely knocked it out of the park. And you can see there's one of the photos that on the left-hand side that I took on top of it's on a racetrack in the photo that you see there, but it was taken on top of a parking garage in Salem, Oregon. So here's the backside. I got my last year's second place and my Waterlands first place trophies in there. I've got a custom shirt that I made that I designed, a vector-based Golf R. And then I've got, some other stuff. In fact, I cleaned up some of it. I have sprays and towels and some other presentation that I do. But I'd already started putting it away. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I actually got a picture of the rear. Got my racing helmet. So when I do race, I need to wear a helmet. But yeah, then you can see my nice carbon fiber exhaust tips too on the back there that are a new addition for this year. I didn't have that last year. Here is the infamous R32. The car that I've talked about for years, that my friend has had just endless problems with, but has, because of those problems, has taken literally every single part, every wire, everything has been taken off of this car. And I mean everything, like the fenders, the axles, the drivetrain, the everything, the taillights, the headlights. I mean, and pretty much every piece has been upgraded with something better and newer. Problem with that is that when you take everything apart, sometimes things come apart. And unfortunately something happened, and I'll explain that later too. But this car is a 2004. You wouldn't know it based on how new and shiny. Brand new, fresh paint for the summer. It's all PPF'd and ceramic coated, which is not cheap. The build list is on the side there. I do have a close up of it for coming up. So this is an R32. This is one of the Wookiee cars that sounds like woo, woo, woo. So he's got Wookiee license plates. I mean, the steering wheel, that's off a 2017 GTI. He's got all sorts of just upgrades left and right. Custom stereo, custom stitched seats. And of course the Wookiee sitting there. It's awesome. Here's the inside of the engine bay. It's got a supercharger on a 6-cylinder, putting out roughly 400 horsepower, right about 380, 390. He's got a special transmission with limited slip and stuff. Some of you guys might know what that is. Custom badge on the front, literally says supercharged R32. Like, his headlights, you can't see them in this photo, but the outer lights actually have the Golf R logo illuminated, so you can't really see it when it shines on something, but when you look in the lights, there's like a hologram of the R logo. People miss it all the time. In fact, the guy on the left there, you can see his feet with his little Crocs. That was Rio. He was a guy we met, and of course, as soon as we met him, we were like, oh, like the Duran Duran song. Anyways, big time builder. He has a car that I'll be showing you guys in a minute. Just kind of a Frankenstein type of car, but just an amazing, crazy creative build. He knows everything about these cars, and he even found a wire that had been like, it fallen off of its hanger and showed Greg, and Greg was like, oh, thanks, that could have been detrimental. And just very smart guy. He didn't even know that I was like, look, there's R's in the lights, and he's like, what? And he like bent down. He's like, what? Oh, that's killer. That's killer. And so very, like I said, everything on this car has been custom. And there's a little closer shot of the liquid intercooled intake manifold and the supercharger. That big red thing on the left with the black tubes coming out of it, that's the supercharger. It sounds so good too. It's like superchargers have a whine to them as they like run and idle. And some people hate it. I absolutely love that sound. Most people turbocharge their cars. Not a lot of supercharges out there anymore. And the fact that this kit even exists is amazing. It's a special kit from Germany, and he's had a lot of troubles getting in contact with the people who make it. The guy who actually runs the company had a stroke and wasn't doing very well for a while. So like every hurdle you could possibly think of that has slowed him down. And this is a fresh motor. He blew his motor last month, and he had to get a new motor. And they don't make these motors anymore. But he found some stuff and put it all together and got it together in time for the show, which is nuts. Here's his build list. I won't bore you with the details of everything that's on there. But, my build list has about 8 things on it. And I mean, every category has at least 8 things on it. So I won't tell you how much he spent on it because I'm sure he wouldn't like me sharing that information. But he could have bought at least 2 of my cars. I'll say that much. And my car was not cheap. So moving right along, we got some other cars. Here's a very cool Corrado, very unique wheels. I believe those came off a Mercedes. I'm not 100% sure on that, but another VR6, but an older version. A couple of Corrados. This one was a really nice build too. We had a nice conversation with this gentleman. He was pretty awesome. And then we've got another white one. It's funny, it's almost the same angle and everything too. I just now noticed that. This one had a supercharged 8-valve in it, which G60 was a very popular motor that came supercharged. So very old car. This is like a 92, 93-ish. So I know I mentioned that superchargers weren't popular these days, but this is a very old car, an old build. Had a nice an SQ7, I believe, SQ5. I can't remember what it was. SQ5, I think. Very, very fun build. Painted engine covers and stuff. And the guy owned like a car detailing shop. And I knew it. And there's his buddy. His buddy had a nice TTRS. That thing is gnarly. I would love to have one of those. Really only a 2-seater car, but it'd be fun to have now that I don't really need 4 seats. Some old school stuff. Some old school stuff for sure. Some rabbits, rabbit trucks, Mark II. I actually, basically, I mean, it's not this car. This is what I used to have a car just like this, but mine was red from the factory, and I always wanted to paint it a dark blue with pearl metallic in it. So like a little bit of a purple hue, a blurple, if you will. This is the closest thing I've ever seen to how I originally envisioned my car being built. I actually have it tattooed on my back. Not even kidding. Now I'm gonna show it to you. It's super old. It's like 20 something years old. It's faded a little bit, sort of bleeding out into my skin. And lately it's been extra, like it's almost raising. It's like I don't know if it's not great. I don't show it to anybody anymore. It's one of those things that I forget about because I don't ever see it. You know what I mean? But you know, I get out of the shower and if I don't have a shirt on, like you can definitely tell that I have a very wild tattoo on my back. Beautiful car. Absolutely love this build. That's a 1985 Jetta two-door coupe. Very rare in the States. This is the car that Rio built. He actually has sort of a Frankenstein motor. And what makes this car so unique, it just looks like a random Golf. But the GTIs didn't come in four doors. And it started its life as a 1.8T motor, but he swapped over into a VR6. And so that was a big change right there because the VR6s, I don't think came in anything but GTIs. GTIs only came in two doors. So the fact that he has a VR6 four door is really unique. But then to take that even further, he actually put an all-wheel drive system on it. And so it's basically an R32, but four door. It's not, but it is, right? He's got the R32 seats. He's got the R32 motor. He's got the R32 wheels, the R32 drivetrain. But it's in a Golf, just a standard Golf. So pretty awesome build. Lots and lots of work. He's an engineer and he put it all together himself, which makes that feasible. It's not a very practical swap. The motor itself can be done pretty easy, very minimal amounts of money, especially with the car, the age of the car and the parts available. But the swap for the all-wheel drive, that's pretty impressive. Here's another beautiful Mark II. This was a 1992 Jetta with a VR6 swap on it too. So another motor swap. You guys probably don't care much about the motors because you don't know what came and what didn't, but very intense swap. You went from like 100 horsepower to like 250 horsepower and very much loved the color, the plum purple. And I chatted with this guy for a little bit. He had a really nice stereo in the back. He had like a weird cover. So like he had speakers in the back up against. So like when you looked and you could see the speakers. And then he had a spare tire down in the spare tire well below. But instead of just having a spare tire down there, he actually had like it all blocked off and then a plexiglass window. And then he had some cool stuff inside there, like illuminating and stuff. It was actually a really, I'm stupid. I didn't get a picture of it. So that's my bad on that. But beautiful car, very rare seats in there too. I mean, you know, it's a 1992, but I bet you this car is probably worth, you know, at least 10 grand, at least 10 grand, at least, you know, and that probably doesn't seem like a lot, but for a 92, that's ridiculous money. Moving along. Okay. So that gold car on the left that doesn't, it can't even, like the hood prop doesn't even work. They had to put a stick in there for it. That actually won the class. That's what won, beat Greg's R32, beat my Golf R, beat Reese's GTI. Greg ended up taking second place because we had a bunch of friends there that also voted. But I mean, a bunch, when I say a bunch, it was me, him, his wife, my wife, his son, my son, and one of my son's friends. So he got 7 votes. And that took second place. And the other group had like 30 votes from what we understood. But yeah, it was just a gold basic car. Like there was nothing really fancy about it. Like, no motor swap, it had factory wheels on it, like no cool caps or like it was just a car. It was clean. I don't hate on it. The owner Bryce is a very nice guy. I actually know him, and but I was like, what? How'd that win? Like that's Greg's car has like thousands of dollars and hours into it, and that one, buddy just cleaned his stock car and won. That's crazy. Now we get into like the campers and some of the unique builds. There was hundreds of cars that were showing. In fact, they said 212 cars in the show that were judged and non-judged. You'll see a little bit of the non-judge stuff in like a row. And then I actually have some drone footage too. I didn't take it. There was a hired photographer that was there, and you'll get to see sort of the scope of how big the show actually is. But a really cool, unique camper. Very, very intensely restored camper. I mean, some of these cars, some of these vans, and some of the cars I'm about to show you, they're in like 50s and 60s, like old, and they're like $60,000 to $100,000 vehicles. Like most of them did not drive there. Most of them were trailered in. They're basically just high-end show cars. They had some really cool Baja builds too. Like I mentioned, there's a drag buggy that actually did some quarter-mile passes and stuff too. It's the Libby. No rockets were fired in the making of these photos. I'll just say that. Some of you may get that. Some of you may not. I like the Dukes of Hazzard build. That was pretty fun. This was a cool car. This was in the non-judged area. Oh, you can even see the pink Draggy in the back. You can see the pink Draggy in the back. I actually have I'm 99% sure that was one of the videos I added to this in a minute. Let's see. Justin says cleanest VW Rabbit convertible for sale yesterday in Albany. Hood up. Yeah. Dang. It was probably at the Volkswagen show. I mean, look at this thing. I mean, whoo, that color scheme, wildly appealing. This was also in the non-judge section. Just a couple. I mean, you can see all the bugs, right? Like, look at all those bugs. Tons of bugs. And more bugs. I mean, it is the bug run, which also brings me back to like the categories of the show. 99 to current. It's really a lazy way to handle that many cars and generations and different types of vehicles that were around from that. But it is an air-cooled show, so all the bugs, buses, transporters, things, those are all air-cooled. They do not have a liquid-cooled system or a radiator like most of us would know it by. But starting in the late 80s, they started going from an air-cooled motor to a water-cooled motor. Actually, early 80s. 83, I believe, was the first year the fuel-injected GTI was imported to the U.S. But and I know that because I had one, not in 83, but I eventually ended up with one. This was really cool. ID Buzz. This gal was here last year, too. So if you guys saw the bug run photos from last year, this car was also showcased. But she added a bunch of stuff. She got this kayak rack, which when we talked to her, there's like a little lever that you pull, and using leverage, it actually pulls the kayak up on top. So it sits up on top when they're driving around, but when they need to access it, they don't have to climb up on a ladder or stress your back out or reach. It's very accessible. She is what I would call a middle-aged or late-aged lady. I would say she's probably mid-60s, maybe early 70s. Super nice. Always approachable. Usually sits in that chair that's just to the left, but I think she was behind it when I took the photo. But very cool build. Not a huge fan of the ID Buzzes in general, but I've always loved this one and what she did with it. New wheels this year too, different wheels than last year. The whole inside's decked out and got all sorts of amenities and cool stuff. So big time win for this guy. Very cool car. Then there were some Porsches. These guys, we talked about, $50,000 to $100,000 vehicles. These were so rare, like guaranteed these were trailered in. Porsche, I want to say they were like Porsche 1600, I think is what it was. And there was a couple of them. Look at the rag top on this one. It like covered the passenger side and where the rag top comes from in the back. That would actually, because this was it's like a tonneau cover, or it's not a tonneau, it's some sort of a cover though. Because it actually has a roof that comes up, it goes on top of it as well. But when you can put it down, you can snap this other piece on the outside. And I thought that was so crazy that it like actually isolated the driver's seat only. So you can actually make it so that the passenger is available too. But I thought that was a really cool, like funny way to do things, right? And look at that. They even had a bike for Nom. I thought that was really nice of them. I thought that was super sweet. Like, in like a little mini service, they had like a little tiny chair and a little trike for him to ride around. Like, I was like, man, they knew he was supposed to come. He ended up no-showing us. His soccer team or football team lost in the morning, and he sent me a message saying the game just ended. I think I'm just gonna sit at home and soak in my sadness. And I was like, ah. But I wanted to make sure I captured that. You know, a lot of people ride e-scooters and stuff around in this place. They have golf carts and stuff too that they ride around in. But you know, they had the service waiting for Nam, but unfortunately, he didn't show up to take advantage. This was another really cool build. I found this one to be I've never seen this one before. The old school camper top, but it's like a custom top. I'm not even sure what's going on with that. I've never seen that. So I don't know if this was like a Brazilian imported or maybe a Mexican import, but I've never seen a top like that on a late 70s, early 8. That might be like an 80, maybe an 81, but I'm guessing it's like a 77. Cool little Coca-Cola theme though, with even the matching wheels. Those wheels are actually old Porsche wheels too. So very high end, you know. And I got another front photo of it too. It had like a little cap. It reminded me of sort of almost like the Mack truck from Cars, right? Like it's different, but like it kind of had that feel. And look, it even has a matching Porsche spare mounted to the front, like, and bright red. Like just such a cool build. Such a cool build. So here is one of the drone photos. You can actually see Reese's car, my car, and Greg's car in sort of the bottom middle, moving over to the right there. And that was the part of the show, the judged showing area. And this was a little bit broader perspective. Cannot see our cars. Our cars are just off the screen on the left lower corner there. There's the drag strip going down sort of the middle right up top. The parking lot where everybody parks that is not showing or participating in any of the races or the vendors. They all park, and it went further. I don't know. I don't want to mess with the picture because I might mess up other things. But lots of, so you can see semi trucks and like cargo trailers and stuff in the bottom right corner. Those are all the racers that have like trailers that they bring their cars in, because a lot of the race cars are not streetable. They don't drive around on the street and didn't drive them in. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what the attendance was overall, but I mean, it was a really phenomenal show. And I was pretty stoked to be part of it again. I got my new t-shirt this year. I don't know if you guys caught it on Friday. I wore my last year's shirt. It's a gray Bug Run shirt. I don't know where this year was black. They go with a different color every year. It's been blue. It's been white. They do different colors every year. And similar design. They have a designer that does all the graphics for them. So it looks similar, but it's always different. Got one of those this year again. Now I believe this is, I have it labeled by number because it's easier for me to track what's been loaded and what's not. It's also easier than typing out like, this is Nom's chair. This is the Coca-Cola bus. So I just put like VW1, VW2, VW3 and go through the whole thing. What's up, Invincible Blue? Invincible Blue? Yep, first race. So we got some bugs. Hopefully it's not too loud. If it is, let me know and I can maybe adjust it for the next one. But fun stuff. Some of these guys are really easy. I think this is slow. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can.
It's a breakout.
Just to get there. There's the buggy that I was talking about. Look at that thing busting a wheelie. That buggy? That buggy? I hate to admit it, but that buggy's faster than my car. I run, my fastest run that I've ever pulled in the Golf is a 12-second, 12.2. So 12.2. I have crummy tires. I have a tune that doesn't support my transmission tune. I have to get that unlocked and updated, which I've been waiting over a year for. It's now technically available, but none of my shops offer the service yet. So with a bad launch and bad tires, 12.2, that car ran an 11.3, a full second faster, basically. So it's kind of embarrassing, but also really cool. I mean, super lightweight, right? I mean, their horsepower is probably half of what mine is, but the weight is probably half of what mine is too. So horsepower to weight ratio is a very important metric when it comes to racing, especially bracket racing. And if you don't know what bracket racing is, if you noticed, like, if I'll go back, if you notice, the bug on the closest to us leaves first. It's not because the pink car is bad at launching. It's because that pink car is actually faster than the black car. And if you watch, the pink car is catching it. It's catching it. It's actually 2 seconds difference, and he catches it. And so, I mean, bracket racing is all about setting up a time. You're basically, although there's 2 people racing at the same time, you're racing against your own time that you designate. So, like for me, if I were racing, I would put 12.2 because I've never gone faster than 12.2. So that would be my dial in. And then my goal is to get as close to that. So 12.21, 12.3, 12.31, whatever, right? Without going 12.1. So if you go 12.1, they call that a breakout and you're done. You've actually lost competing against yourself. So interesting, maybe fun fact for you. Old school versus new school, the black bug on those to us is actually a friend of mine, old mechanic. He is known as the wheelie guy. However, his new build does not require a wheelie bar. He's not trying to go that fast anymore. He used to talk about back in the day, I'd be like, what's it like driving that thing? And he's like, just imagine you're driving and then you go, and as soon as you punch it, you're looking at the sky. You get through first gear and you shift, and you come down and hit the ground, and you hit second gear, and you're back looking at the sky again. And then you hit third gear and you come down, and then you sort of bounce and stabilize, and then third gear is where you make the most ground. But that's how much power they have. And he's nationally known for being a wheelie guy. He was been in magazines and all sorts of stuff in the late 90s, early 2000s. He was wildly famous. Though they're new school versus old school. And I know for a fact that my shop that I've been going to for years is actually retiring. He's telling me that, but we notice a big difference. He's always the track, and he has a big banner out there. Both sides of the track have a Futrell Auto Works. Neither side had a banner before. So he's definitely on his way out. We're supposed to go see him tomorrow, actually, but that's kind of dependent on whether or not he's going to do the work we need. So yeah, I got a couple more is all, and then we'll move into I got a couple other things. I told you tomorrow. So another new school versus old school. Although it's kind of old school versus old school, because that red one is like an 86, 87. Bad launches. There was a bunch of broken cars too. Like everyone's like, "You good race today?" And I was like, "Man, after watching all these people break, it's like a bad vibe or whatever out on the track." And I opted not to. Pretty fast cars though out there. There was also a funny car. I think Reese got footage of it. Maybe I can. They're usually out sounding you. Yeah. The engine sound I like. Yeah, no, they're definitely loud. But there was a funny car there. Reese, I'm pretty sure, got footage of it. I don't have it. I might be able to share it on the Discord later. Although Discord limits how big of files you can put, and usually videos don't apply to that, or are not allowed because of the size. But it was doing 5.7 second quarter miles. Like, you saw a couple photos back there. I think, let's see, where are we at here? No, hold on. What was it? No. Yep. All right. So you see the drag strip, right? The 2 straight lines that go up. The car was running over there, back in the bottom left corner, way back over here, way away from the track. Whoa, come on, get out of there. You could feel it. Like it like hurt. Like it was something else. Like wildly loud. Even with I saw lots of people that were there working on the team for the driver. Big old, noise canceling headphones. I mean, thing is so, you could feel it like 200 yards away. Just 5 second. I mean, that's got to be 1,200, 1,300 horsepower at least. Big tires. And he was practicing. They usually have 1 or 2 of those guys that are there for practicing time trials for some sort of upcoming event. Old school versus new school. Little bunny doing, or not little bug doing a wheelie. That's an RS3, an older one. I thought I had the RS3 video. There's a really nice RS3, but I must have skipped over it. Oh, here's another good one. This yellow truck. Whoa, it was super fast. You got a late start, bad launch, and it just ripped. You got a big old turbo engine on the back. It sits in the back. It actually had a GoPro. And I think, let's see, what's his name? I think we already saw this. Yep, we already saw that. Get out of here. Uh-oh, is it going to come back on? Buttons are slow. All right, here's my display build up close. So we took the front logo that I have. I have a special badge that goes over my Volkswagen emblem. That's just a vinyl overlay. And we took that and added it to the top right. We have a bunch of, like a blurb. We have the 2024 Golf R press release. So it talks about, like, you know, how this is the 5th generation of Golf Rs and inspired by the R32, which was wildly the most famous and popular. You know, a bunch of information about the car, what year it is, my Instagram handle, you know, what mods I've done to the car, and yeah, so definitely cool stuff. But that pretty much wraps up. I had other photos, but I mean, that was 44 images and videos that I loaded just for the bug run alone. So I figured you guys got a pretty good taste of what we experienced. And let's see, I got to back out about a handful of folders there. Next up, you guys might remember, lots of stuff's been going on lately, but we actually had a poll up for 2 weeks now for what the next Sunday Lego game would be. I don't know if you guys have been checking and watching. I've been trying to remind people to vote. We actually had one of the slowest and lowest voting turnouts in maybe the last 5 or 6 votes. Not sure why. Maybe everyone was playing Lego Batman and just didn't realize. Maybe people just don't care. I don't know. But normally we have somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 votes, and we had like 1,300 or something like that. But here you go. I think it's 1,400. Let me get my eyes on here. Yeah, 1,423 votes. 32% went to Lego Movie video game, and that took 2nd place. Lego Ninjago Movie was at the bottom with 8%. Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 topped off the list at 46%, so almost half those votes went to Lego Marvel Superheroes. And last but not least, 14% for Lego Incredibles. So what that means is we'll be starting Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 next Sunday at this same time slot. In fact, we'll be pretty close to getting ready to wind down and wrap it up for the week. And we'll be jumping through that. So hopefully Anna remembers with that one. No, I'm just kidding. You guys are always great helping me out. I'll be playing sort of blindly through most of the story, and then hopefully we'll have some momentum of where things are or whatnot as we go through. If not, I might have to replay some things, and that's okay. Anna says I'll be there. Appreciate it. So yeah, appreciate everybody who voted and everything, and I'm excited to check out Marvel Superheroes 2. It's been quite a few years, as you can see there. 2018 was the last time I played it. So, you know, we've done Marvel, we've also done the Avengers, and now we'll do this one. So, moving forward, though, just because I'm going to need to know this, people are going to ask, as soon as I start playing next Sunday, what's the next Lego game you're going to play? Well, looking at my cheat sheet here, it looks like DC supervillains will replace Marvel superheroes. So the list will go Lego Movie video game, Lego Ninjago movie video game, Lego Incredibles, and then Lego DC supervillains. And the last time I played that was in 2019. So my guess is the DC will probably win that vote. And eventually it'll come down to... so people are asking me, like, okay, what happens when you get to, like, Skywalker? What happens when you get to, like, Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight? So we'll add those as they become the next one available, or the next furthest back guide that we did. And eventually we'll get to a point where we've played all of them except for 3. And so we won't have 4 options, right? So then it'll just be a vote between the 3. And then once the winner gets played, will be a vote between the 2. And then the vote between the 1. And then we'll evaluate if we want to restart over again. I mean, maybe I play on the Switch, or maybe I play on PC, or maybe I play something else. Maybe I'm not doing 8 happy thumbs anymore by then. And I mean, we still have, so we've got 4 games, including Marvel Superheroes 2. And then we got DC, we got Lego Movie 2, so that's 5, 6. And then we got The Complete Saga, 7. Lego Indy, 8. Lego Batman, 1. That'd be 9. Skywalker Saga, that'd be 10. And then 2K Drive. 2K Drive might not be eligible at that point. I mean, I might be able to buy like a Xbox version physical and play that. So that could still be a thing. Servers are getting shut down in about a year though. So it all just depends on, but the reality of it is that the game does depend quite a lot on online capabilities, because like it pings and checks things and you can earn things and connect accounts and stuff. I don't know how it'll function when they shut the servers down. I don't know if you'll still be able to play the base game or not. Like if you have a disc and you put it in your player, will it load the game at all? Or will it need that internet? I don't have the answer for that. I'm sure Quick Break and some other guys who've dove deep into that information would have that. And if you're out there, Josh, let me know. I don't think he's out there today though. But yeah, so thank you again for the votes. Appreciate that. It's very important that you guys are the ones that decide that stuff. And that all being said, Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight production is still going to continue for another week or two. As you noticed last week, we did bring back Fortnite. So we'll be playing Fortnite on Friday. We have the new stream schedule here. I am actively wanting to get a co-op game. I have Tuesday labeled as to be determined. But Tuesday was really a co-op day based on availability for Bobbert and others. But Wednesday has also become an available day. And also Boo is now in the mix as far as one of our co-op players. So there might be some flexibility on what day it is. It might not be Tuesday. It might be Wednesday. It might even be Monday. But I am actively wanting to get involved in another game. I also want to check out the new 007. I've heard so many good things and absolute terrible things about it. Have you guys seen the video where it's like driving and Buddy's like holding the controller in front of the camera and he's not steering at all, and the car is like driving and it's playing the game itself? Like, and that's literally the video title, like 007 First Light plays itself. I've also seen some cool things like Cobby Lane, the guy who on TikTok who's like, like people are like having troubles cutting something, and he's like does a real simple version, and I was like, look, I'm sure you know who Cobby is. Majorly famous. He has a moment in the game. Jacksepticeye's Eye, or however you say his name, he's got a moment in the game where he's like a bartender. So they have some like cool cameos from like pretty high-end creators. There's also I keep seeing a video, you guys are probably seeing this one too. I play 007 First Light for the plot. And then it says the plot, and it shows this girl getting out of a pool in like a very scantily clad bikini. And so like, but the visuals on that game, not just for that scene, but the overall game are amazing. So I do want to check that out. I don't know if that'll be in the mix real soon or if I'll wait until it goes on discount, but definitely want to check that out. So that might fill in one of those spots too. As time goes on and I get further into the production of Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, I mean, there's 22 story levels. I've got 16 of them done. So I only have 6 more story levels. And then we've got some side quests, like a side quest video, maybe multiples, depending on how long they take. Jay and I are still working that out. He's trying to get through the side quest, which I haven't talked to him today or even yesterday for that matter. So he may be done. He may still have more to do. I'm waiting for him to chime in. But ultimately, we've got a couple more videos of that, and then we have the free roam too, which that is going to be different. When I get to the free roam, it probably won't be one video per day. It'll probably be split. One video every 2 or 3 days. Essentially, they're collectibles. I mean, there's, as you guys have seen, and when you look at the menu, there's like 2 of this, 4 of that, 7 of that, 1 of that, 3 of that, 4 of that. In the end, I think there's like 35 to 45 collectibles per area. There's also reportedly a bug right now when you use the tower to ping the collectibles in the area that not all of them are showing. So I don't know if that's just because the bat symbols aren't showing or if there's more to it. I haven't really followed up on that because I'm assuming there's going to be a patch by the time I get there, but maybe not. And Jay and I have talked, we might delay the videos a little bit. Just like when Funko had that like game breaking issue where you couldn't pass the level appropriately and it was like broken. And I hit them up and 1010's like, oh yeah, we'll fix that before Christmas. Well, it was like March or April before they actually supplied a fix for it. And so I was like being told every third week or every other week, like, yeah, don't worry. I'm sorry. It hasn't happened yet. The patch is getting pushed. Is waiting for quality. Like I was back and forth with them a lot. And they kept assuring me that it was going to be out, but it just never happened until it happened. So if we have been, if we find out for sure that that tower thing, so free roam might be a little delayed. I'm being told though, for the most part, beyond the bat symbols or the signals, I don't know what they're, the little tokens, those are like the only difficult item. There is one other item that's supposedly like below the ground that's kind of hard to find. Everything else is pretty much tag and go do. So I'm not telling you not to watch it. I'm just saying like probably not as big of a necessity as usual. I know a lot of people just like playing alongside with me and making sure they get everything instead of bouncing back and forth and back. But it is possible that those might be a little delayed based on, you know, how active they are with patching and if that's really true that it is broken or not. Jay so far has been kind of tracking that, and on his game it seems good. So I do have a message here. It's probably from him, and it is, and he says smack. No, I'm just kidding. He said the side quest ranges between 5 and 8 minutes long, and there's one per district, I believe. So that'll likely be one video strung together, like I do, like for DC supervillains, right? There was like the briefcases scattered throughout, side quests, different things that were bouncing back and forth. So we'll probably do those first, and then do free roam collectibles, and then we'll probably finish up with the bat symbols as their own video. I don't know. Again, I'm sort of torn because if they don't unlock, like if you get bat symbol 1 and it unlocks bat symbol 2 somewhere, that would be reason for me to do a specific video for it. But if all 50 of those things are out there already and I can just grab them in the area, that's how I'm going to do it, because that's how we always do it, right? Just because Lego switched the formula up doesn't mean we will, because I know it confuses a lot of people. Even like people who play a ton of Lego and then they go, I've never played Lego Batman 2. I'm going to go play Lego Batman 2. And they're like, why are you getting mini kits in the story? You know, because that's how we didn't know any better at the time. We didn't know. And that was kind of a luxury thing that we did for the viewers, so that you didn't have to watch the story and watch the free play to get the collectibles. We made it so that you could just watch the free play if you want. If you wanted to watch the story, you could watch the story too. But, you know, the ultimate goal was to minimize your time, to make sure that it's efficient, that it's easy to follow, and that, you know, we could have done a cash grab, right? We could have done like split them up, and a lot of people do that, but we didn't want that either. So we made it that way. All right, let's see here. What do we got going here? Got ads. Oh, well, for the record, the ads pay the bills. It is set up to be intermittently. No settings have been changed, so it should be like all game breaks. I've never seen a split screen though. That's an interesting one. But yeah, it should be like every 15 minutes or something like that. Every 15 minutes should be an ad played. Some of you guys have premium, which you don't see ads. Everybody's a little different. But yeah, okay. So stream schedule, one last look here. You know, we got Friday, Fortnite, and then we got Sunday. It's gonna be Marvel Superheroes 2. So I'm hopeful to get another game in there as we get a little bit further with the production of Lego Batman. But ultimately, you know, that's just gonna be it's gonna be pretty minimal. But good news is Kirsten's been streaming a lot. I am curious, like, is Lego Dimensions ever coming back? I don't know if she's here right now. I know she had to step away for some real life stuff, but I am curious to see when Dimensions is coming back, because she's not done with Dimensions, and I know she's been like going pretty good on Lego Batman. And real quick too, let me look. I want to see something. Let's refresh that. So there's no like cookie or prize or reward or anything, but if you have not already, you should click the link that I'm posting in the chat right now and go subscribe to Kirsten's channel. She is currently sitting at 499 subscribers. She is almost halfway to the requirement for monetization, which is 1,000 subs. She is at 499. She's been at 499 for a few days. I've seen it fluctuate up and down. Like Jay and I have talked about it here and there. I've seen her go from like 486 to like 484, and then 484 to 490, and then 490 to 489, and then 489 to 492, 492 to 485. And YouTube basically removes dead accounts or, whatever you want to call it over time. So, people that haven't been active in a year or more, right? Like some of her earlier, I get that all the time too. Like I'll gain, like this month we gained 700 and whatever, but I also lost like 50. So we gained a bunch, but we also lost some. So it kind of evens out the field a little bit. But 496 was last week. She's at 499 right now. I'd love to see her. Oh, Wolfie says 500. 501. I love to see it. So we're officially over the halfway hump. Make sure you ring that bell as well to make sure that you get those notifications for her. Because she's streaming right now. She's streaming Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, which is a little bit of conflict from our original agreement, but I'm okay with it. We'll just try to make sure that we're not overlapping and playing. Like, I'll play something she's played, she'll play something I've played, but we try not to do the same game at the same time. But I also get the hype too. So, like I said, I'm not mad about it. No shunning, no pig smacks or anything. No shopping smacks or any of that. Like, I haven't restricted her from her shopping duties. But I am curious to see when Lego Dimensions coming back. Partly because, and this is all right, secret time. Okay. Just between us, I am really hopeful and excited to watch Raised play it. Like, it's been fun watching Kirsten play it. Don't get me wrong. It was fun watching me and playing it, right? Like, I had fun playing the game. I kind of want to see Raised play it. We haven't seen Raised in that kind of spotlight. Like, she's always lurking around, helping out, doing all sorts of stuff. And every once in a while, she's a part of, like, a group chat or something like that. And we were trying to figure it out. We thought for sure she was part of a stream when we played Ultimate Chicken Horse. Or not. No, it was Ultimate Sheep Raccoon. But when we looked, I was like, no, she didn't play that with us. It was the Video Game Awards. We were all in a group. We didn't stream that, though. But she's a riot. I would love to see, because, just to experience it, right? Like, giving Jay space to work on the free roam guide. What does that mean? Although I think I'm probably fine doing the remainder of year one. Oh, for dimensions. Hiding in the corner. Lurking, yep. Getting ready to time people out and blame her cat for it. No, but for real, it's like, I'm not saying like it's time to move on, and there's no pressure on Kirsten's timing, but like I am excited to see that happen too, and getting to play it for the first time, right? Because Kirsten had never played it before and always wanted to, and I'm glad that a collaborative effort between me and Jay and Kirsten too, because she came up with some cool ways to categorize and label her tags. And Gray too. I got to give Gray a little credit too, because Gray was kind of the one that kicked off doing the tags on his own. Like, I know Jay had some experience with rewriting some, but like Gray went and was sending me videos and helping, trying to get me learned on all that. So, like I said, it was a group collaboration that made it possible. And oh, big shout out to John Bondi too. Because that's where the Lego Dimension set came from. So, anyways, all that above and beyond, I'm just glad that people are getting to experience it. And once Raised is done, I don't know if this is still the plan. At one point, I'd mentioned that, and he said he was interested. Our one of our other buddies was interested in checking it out too. So I may send it out to Echo Killshot. But because Echo's never played it either, and it's just one of those games that like It's really expensive to get into, period. And now it's just harder to find things. It's also hard to figure out like what NFC tags do you need to buy, and then once I have them, how do I organize them and things like that. So there's a lot of like pain and suffering in order to play it. So now that we've got a set that's rolling around, like I said, group effort, we've all contributed in different ways. Um, and you know, I'm just glad that people are getting to check that out. So all right, so hey, I've got one last thing. I got Patreon shouts, and that's basically all I got for today. If you guys have any questions or comments or requests of things that you'd like to see on game breaks or future games we stream or anything, you know, start plowing through the comments right now so that when I get done with the shout outs that we'll be ready to roll. So you know, patreon.com/Happy Thumbs Gaming is a way that you can directly support us. It's, you know, everywhere you look, everyone's always got their hands in the cookie jar. You know, and other than sending me a check or whatever, which I'm not asking or ever request anybody to do, you know, there's always some sort of percentage or something for the processing, right? And Patreon is one of the lowest shared ones. So back in the day, I was hopeful that we'd, you know, my ultimate goal for Patreon, honestly, is the same thing as my memberships. If I could get my average monthly viewers, which we saw this month was just under 700,000. If I could get even half of those, even 10% of those on a $1 a month support tier, it would change my life. It would change my life. And that's what we always hoped for. It never really took off. Because it never took off, I didn't continue to like build the Patreon hierarchy of like things, and like there's suggestions like, you know, at $20 a month, you could have people play with you. But what if you get $20 a month? How am I going to play with 10 different people? Like, what games am I going to play with these people? You know, there's all these like hurdles for me. So I've never really dove deeper down the Patreon hole. Giggity. And that being said, you know, I'm still grateful. It helps out every month. I have a couple of members that are above the $10 a month, even though it's labeled a $10. They're very generous. I've had $100 a month donations, $50 for, like, some people have donated thousands of dollars and over time, and I'm grateful for it. You know, so but ultimately, like, that's always been the goal. Like, if you know, 225,000 subscribers, right, or wherever we're at, 230 almost, you know, 10% of those, you know, again, this I'm not supposed to say things like this because it's sort of contradictory, but like, I would be generating the type of income that would allow me to do big giveaways every month, like PlayStations and TVs and Xboxes and maybe even PCs, right? You know, shipping right now with the income that I have is not very pliable. Like, it's not very good. You know, shipping's pretty expensive, as I found out, shipping to Kirsten and other people like across the states. It's not cheap. But you know, and again, I'm not saying, hey, everybody give me $1 and you gotta, because it becomes sort of like a gamble or a raffle. And, you know, some states have some pretty severe laws about that. But I'm just saying, like, that's always been my thought. Like, it was never like, let's see how much money I can rack up and then kick back. Like, I always give back. You guys know me. I've been doing this for almost 15 years now. In fact, October will be 15 years if I can math right. You know, and I've never been a selfish person. I mean, even look, like helping Kirsten and trying to get the words. Like, I'm always, anybody who's a part of the community that helps out, like, I'm all about helping them out. So, you know, like I said, like, you know, I don't ever expect anything, but that was always the goal. Like, let's get a high volume of these 99. Like, I appreciate the $50, $100 a month, but I'd rather have 199 centers than 100, because it feels different, and the support comes in different. And you know, again, you don't need to change your Patreon if you're a higher level or anything. You do whatever you want, but ultimately, you know, that's always been the goal. Like, but I can't present it that way. I can't say, hey, become a member and have a chance to win something, because then that becomes sort of the gambling thing. And I definitely don't want that. Don't want to get in trouble. Don't want to get shut down for violating YouTube stuff or whatever. But also, like, that's how I would roll. Like, that's literally how it would be. So, Something to think about, I guess. And obviously, we've got a minimal amount of people here chilling, watching right now, which game breaks are usually pretty minimal. Timing is really weird today too. Often I do it at 5 and it's 10, so in fact it's almost noon. Told you it was going to be a longer one. Told you it was going to be a longer one. But on all of that note, these are the $5 and up current supporters right now, and I greatly appreciate every one of you. Some newer names over the last couple months, and some names have been there since day one. So regardless if you're brand new or been around forever, Thumby and I greatly appreciate you. So wife and Drex also appreciate you. So then we also have the $10 and ups too. So in no particular order other than the way that they're displayed here, I'm going to go ahead and give some shout outs. So looks like Big Shadow 21 is our first $10 and up supporter. Big time thanks to Shadow. You've been a huge part of our community in the last few months, or almost a year now, it seems. And your presence is missed when you're not here. We appreciate your positivity and all of the contributions you have. So again, thank you for your Patreon support and just your overall community support. And that doesn't change for the next one either. Somebody else that's been a pretty dominant name and played a role in helping and even contributed on some streams in the past. We got Anna Russell. Thank you, Anna, for all your contributions. And of course, thank you for your future contributions, because I know you're going to be helping me out with the next Lego game on Sundays as per usual. So listen, I'd rather have you yelling at me than Jay any day of the week. So I'm happy to have you. And on that note, guess who's next? Oink, oink, mother slapper. What up, Jay? Thank you so much. We got Big Halfway Jay up next. So thank you for your support as well. And next up, we got Michael Karsberg. Let's go The Thing as your keyword this month. The Thing. We saw a couple things at the Volkswagen show. I unfortunately didn't have my camera out when they rolled by me. There was one that was looked like it just came off the showroom floor. And if you don't know what a Volkswagen Thing is, Google it. It's almost like a war vehicle turned civilian vehicle. Very few of them were made, short couple years, at least in the US. They may have had larger distribution in other markets, like Brazilian markets, really big with Volkswagen, and unique stuff that we don't get here. There's some Volkswagen trucks and the Beetle. The Volkswagen Beetle was mass produced in the old form up until 90 something in Mexico and Brazil as well, but we didn't get them here in the US. The original Bug or Beetle design was gone years ago from the US. So we have the new version, but now the new version is kind of an old version too, because it's been around for so long. So different markets get different things, but The Thing, keyword. And definitely if you're bored and you want to look up, Google the Volkswagen Thing, a Volkswagen Thing. It's a really cool, unique vehicle. Next up, we got the biggest lurker of all. No, I'm just kidding. Although most of the time lurking is the habit. We got April White. Big time shout out and thanks to April for all the support over the years, and friendship for that matter too. We've had a nice back and forth. We're like pen pals. I know I mention that pretty much every month, but it's definitely, it's cool. Yeah. And last but not least, at $10 and up, support on patreon.com/happythumbsgaming. We got Bonnie Miller. Thank you so much, Bonnie. Much love. Hope you are doing well. All right, so that is it for Patreon and all that. Let's go see what's up. Send me any ability to race. Yeah, so, just for the record, both Kirsten and Raze, I just want to put this out there. At no point do I have any expectations of you guys 10-16 in the game. I may give you both a hard time about oh, you're only gonna be the 10-15 club or the 10-12 club, or I'm just joking around. Some of those Sonic races are pretty mind numbing. There's some other tasks that are problematic too. My best advice is stick with it. Like I always say, learn the route of the whatever you're struggling with and try to get it. But if I know Raised has some hand stuff, and that might play a role in her ability to complete some races or whatnot. As long as Jay's there or close by, Probably won't have any problem finding collectibles or things like that. But ultimately, some of those races are game breakers. So, uh, oh no, hey Nam, you missed out, bro. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Because I don't have them specifically labeled, it might take me a few guesses. But I think it was nailed it first try. Let's go, bro. Look at this. They were I told them when I walked in and I bought my ticket, I said, "Hey, my friend Nom's gonna be here at the bug run. You know, some like preferential seating and maybe travel or transport for while he's here would be greatly appreciated." And this is what they brought me. They were like, "Here, look, we got a little mini service, a little mini chair, we got a mini trike. He's all set up." And then showed me, bro. And then showed me. So it's not from my childhood. That's that. So this is technically, we call it an RS3, but this is technically what Nom drives normally. And I had another funny joke where Greg was talking about we should make a Volkswagen car club or a Volkswagen Audi, a European club, and so that when we go to shows next time, we can have more people and more force behind our votes, because that's how they do it. It's a popularity contest. However many friends you got at the show is likely going to be your chance at winning because of how they vote. And I said, well, I know we got at least 3. I said, we got me, you, and Reese. And I said, technically 3.5 if Nom counts. So we might get the 3.5 votes. I don't know. Half might be the differential between winning and losing. You never know. I see Mike D's out there too. What up, Mike? Thanks for showing up. Appreciate you. Much love. Oh, I got a pig smack. Damn. Might have to time you out for that. I don't know if I deserved it. Let's see here. I also try to help out with any games where I can, Brian. Yeah, no, and a lot of it's just memory, right? Like some of these games that I mentioned have been 7, 8, 10, 12 years ago that I played. With all the documentation and mini kits and things that I've collected since then, it's not always fresh on the old man Brian brain. A lot of the stuff is generally pretty easy to find, but there's certainly ones that are missed or easily missed, and that's why my videos come in handy, and it's why you guys come in handy while I'm making the videos. So let's see here. Love the background. Appreciate that, Adam. Yeah, I thought it was good. So last year I went and I redid every month, got a new background. This year I felt like I put a lot of effort and stuff into last year's stuff, so I'm just like reusing it. I will probably redo them again next year. As time goes on, I might do, between now and the end of the year, I might do a couple different ones too, because I had some different ones that I kind of like do I like this one or do I like this one? And a lot of it's just assets that I find on a website that I'm a member for, and they have like all sorts of like digital assets, and so a lot of them are from that. Some of them have been like from my experiences. Like when we went to Germany, I've got the Wolfsburg train station background that I'm for sure going to use again in August, because I loved that one. And it's gonna be, I can't believe it's been almost like we're coming up on a year already. Like, I know we still got a couple months, but like it's crazy to think it's almost been a year since I went to Germany. And like I was saying earlier with Drex too, like running on the beach, like a year ago he was literally just coming out of his rehab. Like June, like the first week of June was when we were able to like actually take him somewhere and do something, because he had that surgery. He blew out his knee, and we had to have it reconstructed. And ultimately, well, my stream is way behind. It's just now popping up the Nom seat. Yeah, so it's great to see him running full speed and juking and jiving and doing all the stuff, right? Like, it was really cool to see. So one last thing I just want to mention, we've been a little light on the HTG merch lately. The reason I want to bring it up is because I want to know if there's really interest in new stuff, or if you guys are just good on merch. Like, should I put some time and effort into some new designs? I've got a couple of ideas, like some of them are a little outdated now, like the power wash. Like, do you even ding, bro? Like that's a funny one, but I don't know how relevant it is in regards to purchasing. We've got lots of variations of Thumby shirts. We got the classic and the new versions. We got t-shirts, we got hoodies. If there's like things that aren't on there, like a long time ago, we had yoga pants, we had socks. I do not believe either of those are options that we have available now. I only sold one pair of yoga pants, and I'm grateful I never saw the person wearing them, because I knew who it was. But Socks sold pretty good. If I can get socks again, would that be something you guys would be interested in? Or, like I'm just curious, like what would be the deciding factor for you guys to make a merch perch? So if you guys would like some stuff, and I always say this too, if you guys want something custom, like maybe you have a significant other or a nephew or something that knows the channel and knows and watches, and you want like their name on the back of it, I can make custom stuff like that to help make it more, intricate and whatever. So, hey Nam, are you still out there, big guy? You still out there, big boy? I want studs. That's hilarious. I mean, no, you're not. Are you hungry? Are you hungry and have any interest in seeing a six-figured R32? Because I'm like 90% sure that we're going to be going up to Great Notion here in a little bit. There is a particular flavor that is just about out of stock, and Greg wants to go clean them out. It's the Masca Micolada. I don't know what that even means. I probably even said it wrong, but we're going to be going. You're playing MTG with the boys today. What is MTG? Must try and grow? Make them grow? What is MTG? Playing meeting with the boys? Oh, yeah, I wouldn't know that. Wait, like with who? Like, not Mark, right? Not anybody I know? You say the boys, like I'm supposed to know who the boys are. But that falls into that same like blinder spot. Like, is that Friends? Is that Friends? I wouldn't know. Okay. What up, D Nice? All right. So let's see. BT says currently using Lego 2K Drive, guys. I'm watching them all day. They're very helpful. Hey, awesome. Glad to hear it. That was a fun series. I actually really enjoyed that game as a fan of like racing games and cars and Lego. Like that was a really fun experience for me. I got tons of hate, but I mean it was a Lego. It was almost more of a traditional Lego game than other Lego games we've gotten. Collectibles. You had to earn certain things. Certain cars were better for certain takes and jumps and stuff, and the transformation from like land to water to off-road was like really cool, like, or from I guess streets to off-road to water. I just really enjoyed that game, and like I kind of want to go back and replay it. I know I have a couple of trophies that I never got. I got boned on the accumulation for miles, so I need to start a new save for that. But before I started a new save, I had a couple other ones that I want, and I always had plans to do a stream, but I never did it. So maybe I'll work that in on like a random Wednesday or something like that, and see if I can, maybe 100% the game. There used to be a method I need to research, and maybe Jay, I don't know if Jay knows. There used to be a method that you could use. It was like a tutorial or training room in like the shop. So like you got to learn how to like collect crystals, and there was a way to keep your boost up by collecting those crystals, and you could basically do some NASCAR circle racing and like rubber band basically, and just do it for like half an hour, and you would accumulate the miles you needed because you're going so fast and collecting those crystals continuously. You continued to go fast, and you would stack up miles. It's supposed to take like a half hour or something like that. So hey, if you find that works, Jay, let me know. Denise says, hey, been there the whole time, just cleaning the kitchen. Appreciate that. Lurking. Love the lurk. So, and that still works. That still works. Because mine got to like a certain amount. I don't have my PlayStation on, or I'd look. It got to a certain amount and then just stopped counting. Like, it just stopped. And I don't know if they've released any patches since I last played it or not. But I really love that game. That was a fun game. And I wouldn't mind finishing it, doing 100%. And I know I have to do like a couple of online races. So if you're playing it right now, maybe we can sneak you in and have you play a couple. And we still need to do that pig game too, bro. I know that there's other things going on. We're all busy right now, but like I haven't forgotten about that. And hopefully you haven't played it without us. And if you have, you're fired. No, I'm just kidding. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, man. All right, that's gonna do it for me, guys. If you guys got any other questions, comments, concerns, things right now, as long as your name isn't Nom, you qualify to extend this stream a little bit. And if not, I'm gonna go ahead and hit this button. But before I do that, I want to give high fives, dabs, hugs, all of the aboves. Thank you so much for hanging out. Again, appreciate all of you guys more than you know. Peace out, Judy. I see you had to go a couple minutes ago. Thanks for your time and support. Same to all of you out there that have been watching. I appreciate that. So, yeah, guys, I should be back at least by Friday for a live stream. And if you're following the channel, you'll probably see a bunch of Batman uploads go up this week. Probably won't be one tomorrow. It just depends on what happens with the rest of today. If we end up not going anywhere, then I'll definitely record a video and get it ready for audio in the morning. But real life took over this weekend, and you know the rule around here, real life first. So even though usually it applies to other people, and I'm pretty diligent about my schedule and how I do things, you know, I'm trying not to like kill myself with just doing videos. So see you next time. Bye, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Bye till next time. Bye, everyone. Have a good. I was just making sure I didn't miss anything. All right. Going once, going twice. Dude. Yeah. I don't make plans and then not show up. That's your MO, bro. So, anyways, if you feel like having some tacos, let us know. I don't know what time you're playing Magic the Gathering, but you said you were going to come to my house and you bailed on my house too. You never confirmed. You tentatively made plans and then you bailed on me. It's okay. We still love you, bro. We still love you. All right, that's going to do it. No traffic. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I almost believe you. I almost believe you. All right, guys, that's going to go ahead and do it. You know the drill. Head on over to any of our social medias. If you have not already, check out HappyThumbsGaming.com. If you're looking for Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight info, we got tons of it there. The guide is basically complete. A few ins and outs that need to be figured out, but they're almost all done did. But hey, that's going to do it for me, guys. As always, until next time, see ya!